Mm.
I just want to encourage them. Girl, you better get on up and do you.
Clock it.
Yes.
I love that. In honor of International Day of the Girl. Girl, you are that girl. You are that girl. And
You
be
are
that.
that girl.
Yes, you are that
Yeah.
girl. Yes.
Yes. And I would say, girl, it's you. You the one that's gonna save the world. You the one who's gonna let your light shine. You the one who's gonna let others' light shine. You the one who is the answer. It's you.
One, two, three, four.
Hi, beautiful people. Welcome. So this is we don't know what we're calling this, but at the end of the day or beginning, whatever you want to say, we are celebrating International Day of the Girl. So each of us, yes, clock it. So each of us serve girls in our own ways. We have our different organizations. And so this actually kind of came about. We're gonna blame this on Jamie because Jamie decided that we are going to come together. We're going to come together and celebrate International Day of the Girl. But we had plans to do it a different way. And then we had to, pivot and adjust. And so we the random idea of, okay, let's just get together, have a conversation, and still elevate the work that we do and just the bond that we have because it's necessary. You know, sometimes, and we can talk about this later, but sometimes you just see people who have different organizations in the same place and do similar work that they compete. And there is so much work to do. There's so much more room for collaboration and support. And so, um, a podcast came about as let's come together and just elevate the us. And so this is our first opportunity to come together, y'all, and we making it happen. So we're gonna take some time. I probably should have said, hey y'all, I'm Dr. Diandra of Renee. And yeah, let's go. So y'all can introduce yourselves, whoever wanna go first.
I'm gonna let Dr. E go first.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Dr. Elaine Richardson, also known as Dr. E, also known as Auntie, also known as Big Mom in the community. And yes, I'm so happy to be connected to these beautiful, hardworking for our community and for our girls, women. Um, Both of them have been just so humble and kind. And I'm just so glad that they thought of we need to even make this, connection more formal or, more explicit that we collaborate with each other. So I'm happy to be a part of the podcast. And yeah, I would like to introduce my friend, the
Hi.
bold girl.
Hey. Hi. First of all, thank you, Dr. Diandra. Thank you, Dr. E, for this opportunity. And yes, Dr. Diandra, I did say let's do something, but girl, you was like, well, let's just go ahead and do the podcast. And I was like, okay, I am here for this because this is a personal journey I want to take anyway. Dr. E, tell me what you do. Tell me what's your organization.
Oh, my organization is Education Foundation for Freedom. We started in 2016, and we kind of grew out of me running after school clubs. And the politics of the after school club just became a little bit much. And so I wanted to go broader and go into the community with the work I was doing. And so I got my 501(c)(3) nonprofit stuff together, and I've been growing little by little since 2016. We started the Columbus Women and Girls Fest in 2017, but at that time we were calling it Black Women and Girls Recognition Day. And it was actually to celebrate all the families and the girls that I had worked with during my days of the after school club. And
Mhm.
so the first one, and Caroline was there too. Caroline was, I think, was a new student at OSU at that time. But anyway, we had our first one at Columbus Library. The exact branch is escaping my mind right now, and that was in 2017. And starting in 2018, we became the Columbus Women and Girls Fest. And so we just finished our eighth Columbus Women and Girls Fest. The eighth annual. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And so
Woo.
the Columbus Women and Girls Fest is a platform for women and girls in our community. In my heart, I'm an artist. And I always knew I was an artist when I was a little kid, a little girl. I used to sing, play violin, sing with all the commercials on the television, act in front of the mirror, have my brush and stuff, doing my thing. Um, but my spirit got broken at some point, and I won't go into all that right now, but I just know looking back over my life, all of the people that sold into me and let me help me get strong and believe in myself and care about myself and love myself and know that I'm worth it and that I can do whatever I put my mind to. And I just, felt like once I got out of all that drama and confusion and self-hate, that I wanted to share my journey and also provide a platform for other young women and other girls who have a gift. I think everybody has gifts. Some people have multitudinous gifts, but everybody got at least one.
For
you
sure.
know, because God is amazing like that. And so I've always just wanted to encourage and provide just a pathway and a platform for women and girls in the arts. So that's how the Columbus Women and Girls Fest came along. And plus, I have to say this, the arts are a male-dominated industry, just like most industries in America are male-dominated. And it's very sad that oftentimes, women and girls get exploited in the arts industry and are never seen as the curators or the administrators. We're always the eye candy or just the carrying everybody else this on this bridge called my back. So um yeah, so that's where the impetus for the Columbus Women and Girls Fest came from. And out of the Columbus Women and Girls Fest, um, a branch is the Empowering Young Voices Mentoring for the Arts, and that's for girls 8 to 18 years old. And we do vocals, we do poetry, we do visual art and dance and self-confidence and leadership through the arts. Also literacy. We just added literacy last year. So we also do literacy through the arts. And it's just been wonderful working with young girls, young women. It's hard, it's challenging. It's not always easy because they're going through their little I shouldn't say little because everybody's hormones be hormoning. So
Yeah.
they're going through things and they need us to understand them and love on them and just try to share all the resources that we can to help them be who they were created to be.
My name is Jamie Blunt, and I am the founder and executive director of the Bold Girl Collective, formerly known as Brown Girls Mentoring. We have been in existence. Dr. E, I didn't know we were birthed at the same time since 2016. So
Wow.
We all,
that,
we all, yeah.
okay.
Well, more ink in 2016 too. We're going, yeah, coming up on
Okay. We got to do something with that number.
a 10-year. Yeah.
So we have been in existence since 2016. Probably since 2016, we've celebrated and touched at least 1,900 girls year to date. We are currently in partnerships with Columbus Park and Recreation through our Sisterhood Saturdays and after school programming and then in school programming throughout the city for about 3 schools now, with the hopes of landing another one very soon. My vision was just that I wanted to be a girl who was from the east side, earning Mount Vernon. That's where I'm from. I love my neighborhood. I'm an east side girl through and through. And statistically, I was not supposed to be here.
Mhm.
My why has stemmed from went finding out when I was pregnant with my daughter at 15. And I was like, okay, so what are we going to do and how are we going to do this? One thing that Dr. E, first of all, Dr. E, let me give you your flowers. I always try to give you your flowers, but every time I see you, you take me to a place of being okay with who I am and my story. And I
Mm,
that lightly, because a lot of people they love the stars, they love the stardom, but they don't love how they got there, right? So
mhm.
I thank God for you, and I thank God for your authenticity and your transparency about your journey. If you could have seen me when you got your what is that, the YWCA event? Oh
Woman
gosh.
of
Oh, women of
achievement.
achievement.
Elsie was at the table with me, Elsie Johnson Azore's house.
I love LC.
Girl, hey, girl, and I was crying like I ain't never seen you before or heard your story before, crying like, but it's because I love the way you show up and you encourage
Thank you,
me to
sister.
show up as my
Yeah,
authentic self.
yeah.
And for and it makes the work easier because I always tell people, yes, my story is that I was 15 and pregnant. Yes, I came up in a neighborhood that probably tends to get overlooked. We what we say now is under marginalized communities, but God seen something in me that would eventually take my pain into purpose. But I've been privileged to reach other girls, but my heart is just through and through in the neighborhoods because that's
Mhm.
what I do and that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, that's my wife for doing the work, and then my own children, the one who just nicely interrupted this whole thing. Um, yes, and my granddaughter now. So I have a honey baby and she is 5. And so just to show her that she can do things and that she's not limited by what she sees in the mirror. And if anything, be proud of what you see in the mirror. Because for a long time, I was not. I was not. And women like Dr. E and Fran Frazier and so many other women, Miss K, all these trailblazers before us in the city, I think each one of these ladies have inspired me in one form or another to show up as my authentic self, to be okay with marching to the beat of my own drum, and to still show up because God is going to put you in the room no matter what.
Mhm.
So, and that's what I'm striving for my girls. Our pillars are self acceptance, self awareness, sisterhood, resiliency mindset, and character development. And as I started going through my journey, my own healing journey, I was like, man, if these are the components that I probably would have had, maybe things would have been a little different for me. And I just feel like they're basic fundamental components. Nothing, no big pieces of advice or anything like that. But I'm like, if we could all live by that, and we would probably just make the world a better place. Yeah.
Yes.
I am the founder of More Inc. Stands for Motivate Others to Reach Excellence. And so we do that through our 6 pillars: arts, culture, health, education, community, and economics. And we have a program. Our youth arm is Inspire More, EMSPIRE. And the goal is to inspire youth to empower themselves. So we do leadership development, social emotional learning. We just like to expand the horizons of youth and empower them to create the world that they want to see. And so they come together and we do a youth-led youth conference every year. So we're going on year 4 for that one in 2026, but we also were founded in 2016. And then for the past 2 or 3 years, we've run a girls leadership program at Afrocentric, specifically called Pearls. And so we get to just be girls. We get to empower them as women, and we get to talk about things we don't talk about. I learned that girls in the school don't talk to each other.
Mhm.
And so just having a space for girls to come to inside of the schools, we work mostly inside of the schools with our programming during the school day. And I think that just makes a total difference. Most of the youth talk about how just providing a space for them to have community and connect is something that they really need to do, and in a safe, encouraging, and empowering way. And so I'll say I'm about to take this to somewhere else, but I'm concerned about where we're going when it comes to how we're funding education and just how we're doing education, because these spaces that us as like nonprofit organizations, the opportunities that we get to provide the youth, like we go on trips and all that stuff as well, is becoming more scarce because they barely have the funding to do the regular instructional program, and then on top of working and partnering with organizations on the outside to come in and bring additional resources. So with that, Why is the work that we do important?
Ooh.
Oh my gosh. So because we know girls and women make a difference in the world, and they
Yeah.
and that's just the bottom line.
Mhm.
Because the
Yeah.
world can't run without us. Yes, I respect the man. I love my husband. I love my boys. But I know that I am the asset to my husband, and he
Mhm.
is to me. But definitely I'm the asset. We make the world go around. And we
Mm,
and numbers show us that when girls and women are doing well, we economically elevate our neighborhoods. We take it to another level. We cross barriers. So
mhm,
that's why the work we do is so important. And that if we show up for girls to teach them that it's okay to be authentically yourself and show up in that, then
mhm,
we run the I should say we create we begin to create legacy,
mhm,
right? And so if it's each one teach one. So if I
mhm,
can show you that you can do all the things, then you'll believe you can do all the things and you'll make your community believe that you can do all the things and they'll support you in that. Yeah.
mhm. That was
Mhm.
a word right there, my sister. That was a word.
Thank you, Dr. E.
No, I just thought about, the fact that it is hard for girls a lot of times to connect with each other and befriend each other. And so I think that that's good that we are, in the community making sure that we can, break those narratives of, some girls say they don't, have any other women or girlfriends. And,
Mhm.
we need to interrogate that, why? Why don't you have any? Because that's, we need to be connected not only with women. And one thing it reminds me of is when we're promoting the Columbus Women and Girls Fest, usually when I talk to a man about the Columbus Women and Girls Fest or a male or, a boy, a young person, um, they'll say, "Oh, I'll tell my mother or my sister or my wife." And I'm like, we need you to come. We need you to bring them because we're
Mhm.
all connected to each other. And it's a celebration of women and girls. It's not only women and girls, it's for our community to uplift us and celebrate us and support us. So I think that's, right in line with what you were talking about.
Mhm.
Yes. So, we had a little pre-conversation before we started really getting into this part of the podcast. And so what we were talking about, like our why, like our personal motivation for doing this work. So, can we talk a little bit about that? Actually, and then we learned a little connection of, well, I guess y'all could tell it. I ain't got to tell it. Go ahead.
Little connection about what? About us being 2016?
After each work in the space of where you grew up.
Oh, yes, we did.
Oh,
Dr. E,
yeah.
how long have you been out east at the box park?
Since we started,
Oh, okay.
since 2018,
Okay. Okay.
2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's my
you
next.
were at, weren't you running a
I,
workshop for the first, that was the first one, I think, in 2018. You
Dr.
ran a workshop for us inside of the
Crazy.
OSU Center.
My hair was this long when I first started my life.
Yeah,
Yes.
I still have a picture. I should have, we're going to put that picture in this
You
podcast.
got a picture because it was my first real check for speaking. I forgot all about that. Yes. Oh my gosh. Talk about humble beginnings. This is a full circle moment.
That is. Because
Yes.
I was speaking somewhere and you came up to me at the end and told me
At
how much I
OSU.
encouraged you and stuff. And that's
Yeah.
how we met.
Yeah.
That's how we met. And you told me what you do. And we've been together ever since.
Yes, ma'am. Yolanda Owens. I was sitting at a table with her, she was Mylin Sanchez at the time, and Christina, the founders of Femergy. They had invited me because I was kind of like Mylin's mentee at the time as I was getting into nonprofit work. And it was like, we're going to this thing at OSU. I can't even remember what it was.
I
And
can't even.
the way I was crying at that Women of Achievement is the way I was crying when I first met you.
Baby, listen. And
And
let me tell you, I that's why I kind of even skipped over my why a little bit because I didn't want to get ugly in this part, you know.
Go
Because I
ahead, let them know what's real. This is
You have
about
me,
being
don't
real.
have me doing the ugly cry, Dr. E. Don't have me doing the ugly cry. Listen.
Lord
Girl,
have
tell the
mercy.
people what's your why. I mean, you can give us a short version, but like what's your why as to why you do the work that you do?
Um, well, at 13, I was raped. And but I always had like, like people pleasing type of just want to be friends with everybody, things that I thought were okay, because I wanted to feel accepted. My mother was the only Jamaican in our neighborhood, and people used to always, have something to say about how our food. Why y'all food smelling? Why you mama talk funny? Just little things like that that are not really little when you want to fit in. And so, one thing led to another, and I was hanging with girls that knew a lot more than I did. And so I got myself in a compromising position and got raped at 13. And from that, it just went crazy. From that, you would have thought I got pregnant from the rape, had an abortion. And the first guy that paid some attention to me after that was a pimp. And he was 17, I was 13. He was in the street life. He was what they call a tennis shoe pimp. And I can't go through all of that because it'll take too long. But I'm going to just get to, God just brought me a mighty long way from, um, I got in sex trafficking with him, and then I got with like three other pimps. And, I was in that life for like 4 or maybe even more years. But definitely, it was more years than that. Yeah. But I was in and out. Like I was able to get out for a while and finish junior high school, and then finish high school. And I was talented. I was in a lot of talent shows with my singing group and things like that. But I still had that spiritual wound. So eventually, I went back to the pimps because that's what I felt comfortable with. And I was in that life until I had my second daughter. And by the time I had my second daughter, I was a full blown junkie. And, I can't go into all of it right now because we only have so much time. But
Right. Yeah.
it's in my book, PhD to
Yeah.
PhD, Poho on dope to PhD, How Education Saved My Life. And, a lot of people sold into my life. I'm skipping over a lot of stuff. A lot of people especially my mother. My mother, like I said, my mother was a Jamaican immigrant, and she just kept every time I jumped down in the garbage can, she'd come and get me out. Nope, you got to get your education. What happened to you? Choking me and everything. Like you got to get your education. You got to, my mother would just be like, just dumbfounded, like, what is going on with my child? But she never gave up on me. And then I had other people that just sold into my life. And one thing led to another. And I got back in school and just went from ho ho on dope to PhD, as the book said.
I'll say don't miss that, y'all. She is Dr. Elaine Richardson.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So,
And
well,
so
Dr.
that's your
one day we'll,
work.
we'll just have a storytelling time or something on here.
Yeah, we do. Cause I haven't read your whole book. I do think I have it. If not, I need to get another copy, but I did have it. Um, but yeah, I think that's important. Just you talking about your journey and then how you have to go back and forth. But one thing that you said that stuck out to me was people just sold into me, people poured into me. And
Yeah.
so I think that's literally what you're doing now is being and providing those spaces to pour into the lives of these young people, these young girls and women so that they can go beyond, so that they can, have a different journey and a different path where they don't have to struggle as much.
And don't
What
have to
about
be
you?
shame, you don't have to be,
Yeah.
because shame is a killer. You can let shame keep you out of a lot of things. And that's another reason why and I'm glad Jamie is the same way, like explicit about these things, because people, well, damn, if she can do it from where she came from, I can too. So
Mhm.
Right.
Dr. E and
Tammy.
Dr. Diandra, when I tell you, Dr. E always give me chills. That's how I know I love her. I think that, like you said, it goes into showing up as your authentic self. And if I must speak transparently, honestly, I didn't birth Brown Girls Mentoring, which is now the Bold Girl Collective, until I was 35. But it took a lot of the things that I realized. You had said something, Dr. E, about that trauma. I didn't realize how much trauma I was carrying from
mhm,
my childhood into my adult life, and how
mhm.
much it affected my decisions, my marriage, my kids. And it wasn't until I started going through healing and going backward to go in order to move forward that
Mm,
I seen it. And it was just like, that's what really brought me to say, how many other babies need this? How many other Black girls need this type of work, or how many girls period
yeah,
need that little girl healed, that little girl healed. um
Mhm.
that's where we start from. And when we talk about us even getting together as a collaborative effort, to me sometimes, after my healing and after I put, I should say, my personal feelings aside, I realize that sometimes it has a lot to do with who they are individually. You know what I'm saying? Working with other people, it has something, it's an inside thing, because when God has something for you and your path is already directed, can't nobody take away from that,
that's
right?
right.
And
That's
so,
right.
and the more you love yourself and you want to love others,
Yeah,
even if they're not always the easiest to love, right? And I feel like God always gives you his hardest cases, because I always say, my babies who have the most attitude, they end up loving me by the end of the year. I'm like, because I was you, boo. I was you. Like,
yeah, yeah.
and I have one of my
That's
parents
me.
like,
I learned the same
yes,
thing.
I was the boom snap clap girl too. So,
Let me tell you, when people be like, "Oh, she's so poor," I'm like, "If you only knew what words were in my head right now."
exactly.
But all right.
Yes, yes. So it's just really just realizing that I had to heal that girl. She still had a lot of healing to do, and realize also too that even though she had a lot of healing to do, there was a lot of people praying for her and pushing for her that she didn't even realize, and that was
Yeah,
dropping gems on her that she didn't appreciate at the time,
yeah,
but definitely appreciate now.
yeah.
So that's definitely my
Girl,
why.
I used to be sitting up in jail when the people would come in there to talk to us about, NA, Narcotics Anonymous, AA, and stuff like that. I would be sitting in there laughing in my mind. As soon as I get out of here, I'm going to give me some money. I'm gonna give me a 25 cent. Anybody should be able to do a 25-cent bag of cocaine and go home. But that never happened. Because I
Mhm.
wasn't listening to what they said. Don't take the first one. If you
Yeah.
don't take the first one, you ain't got to go through the races and the marathon, because you're gonna be
Mhm.
on a marathon when you take that first one.
Right.
It took me a lot of failures, a lot of
Mhm.
failures. That's why I said a lot of people poured into me and sold into me, because my mind was twisted.
Mhm.
So, I have a lot of empathy for people who are addicts, and you can be addicted to way more than just drugs. Like, you addicted to certain type of people, certain type of places, certain type of things. And
Mhm.
once you know what those are, those triggers, that's why people fail so many times, before those who do finally get the memo. They
Yeah.
failed so many times because they keep, going back, getting the same kind of dude they had, or the same kind of this what they like, and
Mhm.
you fall back down in that hole. But if you keep living, and if God has it, because my mother, the Jamaicans used to say, if you are born to hang, you cannot drown. So if God has it for you to do a certain thing, it's gonna be what, like you said, what God has for you is for you.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you're gonna come out, like pure gold, but it's a journey. And
Mhm.
sometimes you gotta let people help you and stop thinking you know everything.
Yes, ma'am.
I know I'm talking to my old self and even my now self, because I still got some other things that I like. And food
Mhm.
is one of them. So
International Day of the Girl started in 2011 by the United Nations. They deemed it, I think the first one was actually in 2012, but in December they deemed October 11th as International Day of the Girl. And so, how do you think, or let's, from your work that you do, what do you think people need to pay attention to or invest in as we continue to do this work when it comes to serving girls? You can talk about your experiences with the girls and maybe one of the most challenging things you see happening, and how you all solve them. But what are your thoughts on that?
Well, one thing that troubles me a lot is I feel like there's not enough emphasis on how our own culture is being used to kill us. And it's really hard to protect young people because there's so much that they got access to unless you standing over them 24 hours a day, which
Mhm.
is impossible. But it's
Yeah.
so many influences that they're getting constantly from being online.
Mhm.
And just this new world we're in. They're doing, things a different way now. And we need, I feel like there's so many things that can distract them from who they can be. And
Yes.
I just feel that that is something that is not being addressed enough.
Mhm.
Mm,
And that's
okay,
a
that's interesting.
form of not having bodily autonomy. We talk about being in control of our bodies. There's so many ways that we are being programmed, so many ways that we are being attacked, so not just them reversing Roe v. Wade. There's so many ways that we do not have bodily autonomy. So we should be fighting for that, through our mental, our spiritual, um, our, even the food we eat, what are we eating? Everything that's going in us through our mouth, through our ears, through our eyes, through the
Yeah.
air we
Yeah.
breathe. I mean, it's
Mm,
like fight for bodily autonomy for all of us, not just women and girls, but because we're all of a piece. But we're talking about women and girls, so I'm trying to stay in that parameter. But
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, that makes sense, especially with all the different influences. What about you, Jamie?
Can you repeat the question, please, for me, Dr. Diandra?
What do you think is one of the most, just given your experiences with the girls, the most pressing challenges or something that we need to pay attention to with the work that we do?
With the work that we do, and from what I'm seeing, I guess, and through the lens that I try to see it through, is I feel like we lack self awareness.
Mm-hmm.
What I see in my babies, I'm like I tell them, we are so easily distracted. I was so irritated that everybody was talking about Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, and I'm like, did y'all know that the government shut down? Like, and we're talking about healthcare and people who need healthcare. Like, I mean, Nicki ain't never paid a bill for me. So, but I know people in some of my babies who might be affected by this healthcare if they don't have a healthcare card to go to the doctor. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, like I tell my girls, and it ties into mind, body, and spirit, you have to be self aware. You have to be present. And I don't mean consumed with self, but I'm saying aware enough that you are tapping into a higher vibration more than yourself. And you see what's going on in your community. And you also are caring about how you show up for your community. Because if I'm self aware, then, and if I'm thinking about what I'm doing, I'm aware of how I come off to others. I'm aware how I'm treating myself. I'm aware how I'm showing up in my community. And that's the only three things I need from you. I'm not asking you to conquer the world, but if you can conquer those three, then you can conquer the world. You know what I
mm,
mean? And so for me, it's all about self awareness and how you show up. And when you care about how you show up, you care how you treat people, you care about how you show up in your community, you care about your grades, you care about getting to know people in your school that you sit next to every day, or you at least notice if they're off, or you notice if something is going on. You shouldn't be so easily distracted by everything else that's going on. That really probably is just a distraction. Literally, I always tell my kids, distractions don't look like they're distractions until they're done distracting. And that's something that you battle with daily. So be careful of what you're paying attention to, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I think that's so important. I think, yeah, for me, I would say probably a combination of both of those, understanding influence and then understanding how it impacts you. I think so. I know they call it like social emotional learning in the education space now, but I think that it's too low on the totem pole in terms of what we invest in and what we're doing when it comes to helping our girls and our young people in general, because they do get a lot of influence with technology and the way they can connect with the world at their fingertips, and information. But I don't think we pay attention to how much that information is shaping who we are and how we show up, and we just don't have that type of conversation. And so we try to, with our programming with Inspire More, we try to be intentional about that, and
Mhm.
making sure that they have the language, but then also just the awareness of, hey, you coming off a little weird today. You all right? And it's like,
Mhm.
no, I don't. It's like, do you normally answer no, I don't with all of that? And they're like,
Yes.
oh yeah, you're right. Something is wrong. Okay, well, let's figure out what it is. And so
Right.
being open to hearing and being able to, be self-aware and assess what's going on with yourself, I think is
Mhm.
important. And then being okay with that level of humility of, you know what, my bad. I didn't mean to come off to you like that. I really, this is not what I meant. This is what's going on. And then for them
Yeah.
to be able to have that safe space. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, that for me, that's cool. I think I learned later with the work that we do, one of the schools, they was like, I said, oh, so y'all, they said something. And I'm like, oh, so y'all gave me all the trouble kids that y'all deem as trouble. And they like, yeah. I was like, and I didn't know. I've been at the school a couple years now. I did not know. And so
Mhm.
it's like, oh, okay. Because if we have the opportunity to just see them for who they are, we don't have to,
Mhm.
we're not judging them. We just get to, hey, create this space for you to be you. And then in
Mhm.
that, we get to shape and influence and mold you into being who God has called you to be. And so I
Absolutely.
think that's just so important for the work that we do, especially with our women and girls, because there's such a hatred type, we got to go against each other versus coming together. And it's like, we don't have to do that. We don't do that at
Right.
all.
Right.
So how long have you
What
had
made you? Oh,
Inspire?
go ahead.
And I was asking
Um,
how long you've been doing
Inspire More,
Inspire.
we started 21, 22, I think.
Okay. That's about the same
2021.
time we started empowering young voices. I think that's the same time we started that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you
Because
were going to say something. And I don't remember what though.
what the question on the survey was about, did they feel more comfortable speaking in public, with the group and in public?
Mhm.
Because that's like we do a lot of work around them being able to express their ideas,
Okay.
and being able to, like take up space with you,
Mhm.
with your voice, be able to, you know, um, um, be who you are in this space.
Yeah.
Do you feel more confident? And she said, I still don't feel confident because I don't have any friends in here.
Mhm.
Now, there were a couple of other people who said they didn't feel confident, but they attributed it to they have high anxiety.
Okay.
So I get that, like that's like,
Mhm.
something you just keep working towards to make people feel more comfortable in that, be accepted.
Right.
Okay. But when she said that, this one particular girl said, I don't have any friends here. And
Mhm.
we're doing all kinds of stuff for them to, all kind of icebreakers, activities, people working together, people dancing together, singing together, then doing all kinds of stuff together. And she
Mhm.
said, I don't have any friends here. And it kind of broke my heart.
Right.
So,
Dr. E, that was one of my pieces of feedback for my high school students. I mean, because I just did a collective survey at the end, and I was just asking them some things that they wanted to see more of as
Mm-hmm.
the school year next year, and they was like, we want more sisterhood, like we want more bonding, and honestly, just coming from the subject change, like it really made me happy to see that because
Yeah.
we had just talked about how we are deemed supposed to be against each other, or we can't work together. And that's so farthest from the truth. And to see girls who desire sisterhood, which is one of our pillars. That's the reason I feel like it was a pillar for me and my team, is because that's for me, it's important that my team feels valued. And it's important that I want y'all to feel like this is family and not necessarily work. You know what I'm saying? I love the way I've seen, even with the women who are on the team of BGC, how they have their own relationships or they connected through the organization. And I see them yeah, I'm telling y'all's business. I see y'all at Land Park, y'all doing karaoke, y'all at the Commons together. And they started because the organization brought them together. And that's my hope for other girls. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, how can we be more intentional outside of instructional time with making sure that parents are connected and that the girls are connected? And that's something I feel like that just goes back to old school community. I was born, of course, I'm born and raised in Columbus, Ohio, from Poindexter Village. And so before Feldy Hale, it was Clifton Avenue and Champion. So I grew
Mm-hmm.
up on the court that was right across from Champion Middle School. We had the big old field that took you all the way down to the laundromat. We stayed in apartment A. And so you had to walk all past the aunties and people who know my grandmother, my mom and my aunt and my uncle to get to the laundromat. So that sense of community, I know what that is. I know what it's like to have somebody watch out for you and know what
Yeah.
to the store for and that you're supposed to be coming back right back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so
That's
me,
I'm telling you, that's a Cleveland.
yes,
That
and
sounds like the near east side of Cleveland where I grew up.
so for me, it's important to have that sense of community with our parents, to have
Yeah.
that sense of community with our girls, and to hear that it's it's still a wanted thing. To hear it from our girls that they want community, they want camaraderie, they want sisterhood. We don't get that publicized, but you can't pay me to believe that we don't want it and that it's not there because I work with girls who want it. So that's the part that I wish we as a community could put the spotlight on girls who want that, who are doing great things in their community,
Right.
who are looking out, because we have girls who are doing it, we just don't get to hear about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's true.
yeah,
True.
it's important and it still exists.
Mm.
And it still exists. I think that's dope. Um, Take yourself back to when you were a girl. What was your dream? If you can remember one dream that you had as a little girl, what was your dream? I was gonna say sometimes we try to like qualify our dreams and all that. Don't do that. But what was the one dream that you had as a little girl?
To be a naval attorney, Air
A
Force.
naval in the Navy, a naval attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay.
Mine is in my high school yearbook too. It's still the same. I
Mhm.
always wanted to be a singer, and I
Yeah.
always wanted my voice and my music to take me around the world.
Mhm. And look at you, Dr. E, out here singing,
I was
okay?
like, it is, doesn't it?
And
But I'm not doing it at the level I want to do it, because sometimes it just seems like everything is taking up me.
mhm.
And so I'm fighting for my dream every day. And going to the gym is part of that dream. You know what I mean? Like now, because I see you ain't gonna be able to have no air in your lungs if you don't go to the gym. You ain't
Yeah.
gonna be able to hit one note. So
Yeah.
that's a part of it. My job, my community work. It's all like I gotta balance it all out and make it. I got my granddaughters.
Mhm.
Um, so
You're
I
doing it.
have to make sure that I don't let everything take over me before. The
Yeah.
upper room. What in that what's that Life movie with Eddie Murphy now? The upper room when she
I
Oh
got
man, that's
I want to
hilarious.
do all my stuff before I go to the upper room.
you.
That's
Dr.
funny.
Diandra, what was your dream?
Mine
Yeah.
was to be the first African American female president of the United States of America.
Oh, you still can do that, my sister.
It's all right.
Or
We
did
couldn't
your
keep it.
dream change?
But she said, hold on, it's all right. Now, I thought
We
it, but
couldn't
I
You
don't
know
want
how they
to.
treated Kamala, huh?
And that was, but no, I changed my dream before that even happened.
Oh,
Yeah, we changed I think I learned how much presidents of the United States made, and I was like, oh no, mm-mm. I
they
think it
told
was on
you
like
wrong.
$400,000 or something. And I'm like, for all of that work they have to do, the whole United States, they make 400,000. No, thank you. That is not what I would like. No, thank you. So I changed that dream, but it did shift to me wanting to be an attorney still. And then getting my PhD and JD by the age of 30. And I did it.
Okay.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did
And
That's
it.
it's so,
I did it.
it's so crazy how I think as girls, you have dreams, but ultimately, one thing I've come to accept, I should say, from my personal journey, is that even if you didn't have or things go the way you thought they would, but God can give you a new dream. And
mm,
it can still be beautiful. It can still be, I call it my beautiful mess.
love that.
I
And
love that. That's beautiful.
yeah, I mean, I feel like I never thought I was going to be a parent. And I think my own insecurities and watching my parents, not that after therapy and healing, they did the best they could, right? But I was like, looking at these jokers, I don't think I want to do that to nobody. But here I am, a mother of four, two girls and two boys, and I love the way that my kids love me, and I love the way that they know Mama Bear gonna be there, even if they get on my last, and that they do sometimes. And I know that God turned everything, because my thought was go to the service so you can get away from all the mess, all the hurt, all the pain. It was my way to flee.
Mm,
Um, and not be connected to anybody because I knew the military was going to take care of me.
mm.
But it ended up again a different story, a different path, and I'm glad that things worked out the way that they did, because I think even my definition of success is different now. Success is
Yeah.
happy, healthy, watching my babies grow to old age and have my honey babies, and because that's what my grandkids call me. They call me honey. They don't call me grandma. I am too fly to be somebody's grandma. Okay. But so yeah, yep, it's my beautiful mess, but I love it. Hmm.
That's
And you're
dope. That's
being
like
recognized.
Oprah said. Oh,
Now, I was just
go
gonna
ahead.
say, being recognized in the community for your, your bold girl work.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
wonderful. So you
Yeah.
say God can give you a new dream. That wasn't even part of your dream, was it?
No, ma'am,
Right.
not at all. Yes,
That's
thank
Oprah calls it, she refers to it as she wants to live in God's dream for her life. And so when I
yes,
heard from her, I was
Ooh,
like,
like that.
that's what I want for mine.
Yeah,
yes,
Because even with these
yeah,
degrees, I don't know what I thought I was gonna do with them, but I didn't think I would be doing this work, to be honest. I did like working with youth and building I wanted a nonprofit organization, but not necessarily me working with youth. I didn't see that part. So yeah,
yeah.
definitely living in
yeah,
God's dream. But it's so fulfilling to live in God's dream for your life versus your own.
absolutely,
Isn't it
absolutely.
something?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
My grandma used to say, "God hears our plans and laughs." I see what she means now. I see what she means now. I definitely see that. Yeah. Hmm.
God hears our plans and laughs.
Yes. I
No
do have
doubt.
a question for y'all. If y'all have
Yeah,
one
let's
piece,
go.
if y'all have one piece of advice that you would give your younger self, tell me what that would be.
Mm. I think now I can look back and say, like now I accept myself.
Mhm,
I had a lot of low self-esteem. Like my
mhm,
lips were too big, my
mhm,
teeth weren't straight, my
mhm,
hair wasn't long enough, my this, my that. I just had all these things that I didn't like about myself because people, back in the day, people called you what you look like.
mhm,
Bubble lips, you got bubble lips. People, you know how people is in our community. They
mhm,
name everything that you ain't got or
mhm,
that you do have.
mhm,
But so you got to be all right with yourself. And it took
mhm,
me a long time to be all right with myself. I'm okay.
mhm.
I like me. I feel like I'm glad y'all like me because I
I'm
like
about
me.
to say we like you. I literally
You
said that in
see?
my head. I'm like, hey, we like you.
Yes, yes.
Okay. It's okay to be. I would look back to little Elaine, Laney, and say, girl, you are. And I tell the girls in our program that you are it.
Mhm.
You
Yes.
got to know that you are it.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we get up and we say some things about ourselves that we like, and stuff like that. And I try to tell them you gotta, talk about what you like about yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
So yeah, I'm it.
Mhm.
And
That girl, she is that girl. She is that girl.
it. I'm
That
it.
girl.
I'm not anybody else though, but I'm me. And I'm
Yes,
all right with me.
absolutely. Dr.
And I
Diane.
think that's beautiful. One of the ways that I see that for you when I see is like when you're on stage performing,
Oh,
because it's like you just are you. You don't really care what else is happening. That band behind you, you got that mic in front of you, and you are just you. And I love that.
Mhm.
thank you. Now you
Hey.
gotta tell us yours.
Okay, so I would say live full out. So I to give context, and I kind of do it now. Not as I'm doing better. But I have I don't know how am I say that? I'll be trying to live humbly. I don't know. But the difference between like I have a lot of gifts. Like I grew up in the arts world, sing, dance, draw, like I'm just very creative. But
You ain't tell
I
me, go
don't
ahead.
but whenever there's an opportunity, yeah, I sing too, sing, dance. Yeah, I grew up at the King Arts Complex. Every arts program they had was us. We used to perform at the zoo, winter, spring, fall, all the things. Long story short, I used to remember shrinking and hiding. And
Mm,
sometimes I still find myself in those positions where I shrink or hide my gifts or whatever else because I don't necessarily want to be seen or recognized or whatever. And
mm,
so say to her to live full out, no matter, whatever is on the other side of
mm,
that. Just be you and live
mm.
full out.
First of all, you are such an inspiration, and I love the commonality. I didn't realize how much we have in common, but we got a lot in
I
common.
know.
Living
Yeah.
exhausted.
Get to get off this camera and toast something is all I'm saying. But I
I got
definitely can relate to both statements. And so for me, I'm kind of like y'all. Like I would tell my younger self, girl, you are that. Like here lately has been my best friend. We were just talking the other day. And I was like, I am so dope. Like I'm dope in real life. Like I am just so dope. And she was like, oh, okay. Like and I was like, and I don't, and I'm like you, Dr. Diandra and Dr. E. I'm saying, I'm like, it's not saying it from a place of um ego. It's saying it from a place of confidence because I remember a time when I couldn't say that. Um
Mm-hmm.
also
right.
saying it too because I am what people think they are because I'm genuine. You know what I mean? In that, I am genuine in that, and I
Mm-hmm.
own that. And I remember for a long time shrinking because of my authenticity,
Yeah.
um, because I felt like I shouldn't be that way, but really that's what draws people to me. That's my superpower. It can be my superpower and my kryptonite sometimes, but I don't want to shrink and I don't want my heart to be jaded because of what other people think. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm dope. And I normally, whoever is connected to me, they dope too. And so, yeah, we in this together. Yeah.
And that's the work that we do. Like that's literally the work that we do.
That
Like
we
we
do.
create spaces for people to see that.
Look at
Hey,
that little beautiful person.
This is the
girl.
Oh, hey,
Hey,
honey, baby.
yeah,
Oh,
yep. That's the reason why for me, I would tell Jamie, girl, show up and show out because you are that girl. You are dope.
yes, yes,
Don't
yeah,
I take a page out of each one of y'all's playbook. Live full out. Don't shrink.
right,
Um, own who you are.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm, yep.
Don't dim your light.
Yeah. Dr. E, I
Don't
love
don't dim.
don't dim it. That's why I love Caroline.
yes.
Caroline was my student when she first came to OSU. And I just saw it right away. This girl got a personality. This girl got a personality.
Mhm.
And I just love to see people walk in what God has for them.
Yeah.
Walk in it.
Mhm.
People can feel that. When
Yes.
you're
Yeah,
walking in you, that
Mhm.
makes that lifts my spirit. That's
Mhm.
how we
yeah,
do in church when somebody just start letting go.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
yeah.
it,
What
very
is it when you let your light shine, you unapologetically let others do the same or something like that?
yeah.
It was Mary Wilson and then Nelson Mandela quoted it as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Mm,
it. You get permission to
Yeah.
for people to own their space. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then when you also shine, you give God the credit for
mm.
what He's done. Because how you gonna downplay me? Because you were created in my image. So how you
Thank
down
you.
when you downplay you downplaying me, right? So
That
yeah.
Literally.
is the
I was
truth.
literally having that conversation the other day. Well, of course, with me and the Lord, but I was about to say with myself, with me and the Lord. But it really
Yeah.
was like one of my prayers is always for God to be glorified, like be glorified, in my life. And then in one of those moments where I had the opportunity to, I guess you say, shrink or shine, it was now your prayer was for me to be glorified, and I gave you this gift, and you're not showing it, like you're not letting
Mhm.
it letting me shine through you. And so, yeah.
It's
Yes,
a real
yes, it was, yeah,
ain't it?
humble me.
Absolutely. I was about to say, ain't that something how you had a full circle moment real quick?
Humbled me real quick. He said, "Now this your prayer,
Right.
but
Absolutely. Absolutely.
what you doing?"
So we
So
gotta do this again.
we're gonna end on this. Complete this sentence. So it's International Day of the Girl. We are celebrating. So we have Education for Freedom represented with Dr. E. We have a Bold Girl Collective. Also, I love that new name. And shout out to
Me
y'all
too.
being bold and
Oh,
shifting to that. Because it's
Thank
hard when you have a brand and you want to shift to something else. So shout out to you. That might be a whole nother conversation. So shout
you.
out to
Yeah.
y'all, Bold Girl Collective, and
Thank you.
More Ink with Inspire More. So finish this sentence in honor of International Day of the Girl. Girl, and then you finish.
Mm. Dr. E, I'm gonna let you go first.
well, this is that I'm gonna dedicate my girl to people who are still not, focused on them.
Mm.
I just want to encourage them, girl, you better get on up and do you.
Clock it.
Yes.
I love that. I love it. Okay,
Yeah.
so for me, in honor of International Day of the Girl, girl, you are that girl. You are that girl. And be
You are
that.
that girl.
Yes, you are that
Yeah.
girl. Yes.
Yes. And I would say, girl, it's you. You the one that's gonna save the world. You the one who's gonna let your light shine. You the one who's gonna let others light shine. You the one who is the answer. It's you.
Mm,
Absolutely. I love
mm,
it. Yeah,
mm,
this
mm,
was good. Yes.
mm.
Yes.
I can't wait till the next one.
I know.